Hi everyone and welcome back to the Garment Decorators podcast from Target Transfers, the podcast for garment decorators who are into heat printing, anything to do with decorating garments, but even today we're going to be talking about hats as well. So, hi Molly, how's it going?
Hello, good, how are you?
Very good, thank you.
We haven't spoken about hats on the podcast for a while.
No, it seems like a long time ago. And we've been, well, we should probably get straight into it, but one of the reasons for podcast today is we've got another big announcement about a new event for everyone, which everyone's been asking us about, which is one of the reasons we want to talk about hats today. Mm-hmm. So we are going to be hosting Headwear Live on June 28th, live here at the Innovation Centre in Braintree in Essex. And it's going to be the only hat event in the UK that's dedicated to garment decorators.
It is. I like the way you keep looking at it. I don't know why I'm holding it here.
But basically, with the feedback we keep getting on our lives and a lot of the other events we're doing and questions we keep getting sent on Instagram and Facebook is, when's the next event? I really want to do another event.
Yes.
How can I get to one? So that's why we've decided, based on your feedback, that a hat event is the next logical one to do, because we know lots of people have got lots of questions and so much has changed in the last few years about how you can even decorate hats as well.
I think as well, from Printwear and Promotion, the 360 IQ hat press had so much interest, and that section of the stand was just constantly mobbed. It was always being demonstrated, and I think that sort of told us before anybody even said anything that should be the next event that we do. And we've had some great feedback already. We're almost half booked, I think. And we only launched it last week. So great feedback so far. If you are looking to come, do book your ticket. They are free, but spaces are limited, so don't miss out, basically.
So for those of you who haven't had the chance to see the website yet, first of all, make sure you sign up for our newsletter, because that is always the first place to know about new events and to get the exclusive VIP access to tickets. But we are going to be hosting this big event, joint event with Beechfield Brands. So for those of you that have never decorated hats before or kind of relatively new to the industry, Beechfield are the main European wholesaler for hats. Bags as well, actually, and lots of accessories like that, but predominantly bags is one of their hats is one of their biggest one. So we've teamed up.
Bags, to be fair.
Bags is very big, yeah. Hats is one of the biggest ones, and that's why we've teamed up with them. We've done a few events with them before. This is our first big event together as co-headliners.
They came to the Bella Canvas launch, didn't they? And had sort of their own little stand there, which was proven very popular. But I think it'll give them a bit more noise, I guess, with them having an event, like co-hosting the event with us. And like you said, the scope is there for people to decorate hats in the UK. That's
it, and they've got such a big range. So I mean, we're not just talking just standard baseball caps. We're going to be covering pretty much everything to do with hat decorating at that event. So they're going to be one of the co-headliners with ourselves, but we're also going to be joined by Ralawise. There are a lot of you will know Ralawise, but they're the biggest wholesaler in the UK for any kind of garment, hat, accessory. So they'll be part of the show. We'll also be joined by Graphtec as well. So Graphtec we've done events with before, but they are the leading cutter supplier for cutting things like high build 3D vinyl, which is one of the biggest ways for decorating hats and one of the most popular methods and the fastest growing heat transfer vinyl for decorating hats. So they'll be there to lend some expertise for one of the ways for finishing the hats itself as well.
I think high build is going to be another showstopper. I mean, when we did the Vinyl Summit, it was one of the most, I don't want to say most popular, because all of the vinyls looked amazing, and everyone liked the Premium Plus, the Stretch, all of them. But I think especially on hats, Premium Plus, High Build has the Premium Finish. This is getting confusing. That everybody wants, and I think it just brings the barrier to entry down a little bit. If you don't want to get started with like badges straight away, High Build is something that you can do one of if you wanted to.
It's probably the product that we get the most questions about as well. I think people
definitely.
It's a little bit tricky to use in some of the vinyls, but I think people just get a bit intimidated by it because it's so thick, and they're like, I've got to use a slightly more expensive cutter to really get good results on it. And I think that some people could be a bit like, I don't know about this, but once you kind of start to use it a little bit and you get into it, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. It's too scary.
I think, like you say, it's daunting at first, but it's not as hard as it seems.
No, and like you say, it's a very premium product, and it's a very profitable product once you start putting it onto hats and hoodies and other high value items like that as well. So the event will be on June the 28th, which is a Wednesday, and there will be a morning and an afternoon session. So there's a 9:30 and a 2:30 session. So it's really important to sign up for the one that works for you, but there's options for everyone depending on how busy you are. And you'll get a chance to see loads of demonstrations on hats and bags. You'll get talks from everyone. All the speakers that are invited will be doing talks. They'll be explaining to you how easy it is to get started with the hat business. Because one of the things that is always quite staggering for people when they find out the profit margins on hats, they're like, okay, sign me up.
Yeah.
Because you're really looking at sort of like £3 a hat, and then at most probably £2 or £3 for the decoration part, but the actual sell price of that is like minimum 15, or if you're retail you could be looking at 30, 35. Or if you're the Grand Prix, I saw some of the prices being advertised for the hats that will show everyone to decorate.
They were insane.
They were like £80, £90, and there was nothing particularly special about them other than the branding of the teams, obviously.
And that wouldn't have cost them more than £5 or £10 to make. You
No.
think the profit margins on that is ridiculous.
Yeah, so hats for brands, hats for sports teams, hats for events, hats for everything is a really great way to add profit on. And the UK hat market is just growing at a real rapid pace as well.
That was going to be my next question, because when we first started talking about hat heat printing in the UK, I think it was something that people were intrigued by, but they weren't ready to take the leap on yet, because it was something that when we spoke to our friends in the US, Styles, Transfer Express, they were all saying how big the hat market was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite in the UK yet, but I definitely think it's something that has grown rapidly in the last year or two. And people are actually buying high volumes of them now, and having sort of more than one to own more than one, so that the market is definitely growing.
I think that's exactly what I was about to say, is that the amount of people who've gone from having a hat to hats, which is the main thing really, and people kind of don't mind spending money on hats. It's a nice way of showing support for something or getting a souvenir for something,
memory of an event.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's lots and lots of opportunity for it, and now the barriers to entry for decorating have been just obliterated. It's really, really easy for absolutely everyone, because we've got this fantastic 360 IQ machine which can decorate pretty much anything onto a hat.
Obliterated, I like that. You put major sound effect over that in the edit, please. But I think it's going to be a good day.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure you sign up. It's targettransfers.com/headwear live to get your tickets. They are free, but our events always sell out.
Did you say targettransfers.com?
I think so.
Targettransfers.com/events.
/events, sorry.
Headwear Live is on
the custom site.
Okay,
so custom.
We like to make things easy for you.
Yeah, just head to targettransfers.com/events and you'll see it all on there. And then you can sign up, get your free ticket, but it will sell out. So make sure you sign up for the one you want, because otherwise you'll be disappointed come the other day. Yeah,
if it's anything like the Bella Canvas event and the Vinyl Summit, do it now, because you will not have a chance in a couple of days.
And it's probably the next big event where you'll be able to actually get a chance to spend some time with the people who provide the products as well. Yeah. Because obviously P&P was last month. And then the next big event where you like to see any of these people or these these companies all together just talking about hats. Well, there won't be another chance, because there are no other events just about hats in the UK. So this is the only chance this year to really get stuck into hats and really get skilled up. And some of you can even get started in time for this summer. But if not, you'll be able to have everything you need to know to take on the winter market. And then come next summer, you'll be able to just do any kind of hat, basically. But so all year round for hats now anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah.
I think the time that the printers that come to the event, like you guys that come, the time you get to spend with the suppliers is so much more valuable than the time you get to spend with them at a bigger event like Printwear and Promotion, because as much as that is a fantastic event, and I mean, we go every year and, we meet a lot of people and it's fantastic, but because it's so busy and the hall is so big and you're trying to rush around to get to all the stands you want to in a day, you often cut your time with certain people short, or you don't get to ask all your questions and things like that. But what we found at the Bella Canvas event in particular was that we had obviously Beechfield were here, Ralawise were here, and San from Bella was obviously here. The time that each customer got to spend with that supplier was so much more valuable and in depth, and the talking about all the little questions they had that would help their business. I think that was so much more valuable than what they get at another event. And like you say, it's going to be another 8 months before there's another heat printing event, and not a hat event in the UK. So
yeah, you're right. It's definitely much more of a relaxed atmosphere,
relaxing, intimate.
When it's here, for sure. I think you're right. You get a bit more of a quality conversation. And if you're going to take the hat market seriously, you're going to need to be speaking to these people on a regular basis, because they'll be your go-to for finding out what's trending, what's new, colors, styles, fits that you need to be thinking about 6 or 12 months in advance. So then you can really get ahead of your competitors that way.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see what's trending for this year, because we've got a little bit of an insight, but nothing too in depth. So I'm excited to hear Beechfield's talk at the event, and actually for us to learn what is new and trending as well.
Yeah, well, there's lots and lots of stuff. We saw some really great bits and pieces at the event.
Yeah.
And there's lots of different ways to decorate as well. So obviously we mentioned high build earlier, but we're also going to cover everything you need to know about woven patches, embroidered patches, rubber patches, which are really big, and even metallic patches as well. So pretty much everything you could possibly want. And for those that joined us live a couple of weeks ago for a hat printing virtual event where we showed the cap bill for the first time, the cap bill press, or platen, sorry. We're going to be having that live at the event as well. So you'll be able to see how you can decorate every single panel of the hat now, which is something you've just never been able to do before.
Yeah, it almost seems like a new product exclusive, doesn't it? I know that we've technically had it for a while, but we've never really used or spoken about it much. So that's going to be exciting. Yeah.
And that's such a great addition. If you've already got a heat press, it's just really easy. Yeah, really easy. And once you've done it a couple of times, pretty much everyone can do it. And it's so much quicker than any other way of putting those kind of embellishments on a hat. So especially like embroidered patches versus embroidering a hat, it's just so much quicker.
I think as well, the thing that a lot of people are going to be amazed by, and I know this sounds silly because it's something we do all the time, but 6-panel caps, something that you can decorate onto now. You can fuse over the seams of these. And we've been doing it for, how long have we had the 360? 2 years? Ish. But there are still people, especially at Printwear and Promotion, that would come up to us and go, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And we'd go, yes, we can. But I think that's going to be a game changer for a lot of people as well that have maybe been thinking about entering the hat market, but haven't seen it in real life or really looked into it that much. So if you do come to the event, this is definitely something I'd consider, because it just looks so much more premium as well, doesn't it, having that ability.
I think the impressive thing is when you look at it, because when you think because you're not going to wash a hat, so you could put lots of decorations onto a hat because you don't need to worry about it washing off. But one of the most impressive things for me with the 360 is just how secure it is on there. It's not just sitting on the top of it.
No, that is
it sits, it goes on the seam and it looks good on the seam. It's not lifting. No, it's really well placed and well fused onto there, so it looks really professional that way.
And they are, Beechfield products are premium, like they're good quality, they're structured, they're comfortable, and I just think with obviously that higher quality decoration, you have a really premium product to add to your range. So that's going to be exciting.
That's it. So we'll be doing lots of price breaks down.
I'll just give up with that. That's the second time I've got that now. We'll just leave it.
There you go. You can have a new one.
Oh, thank you. So I get to wear these for the event. Is this allowed? Okay.
Yeah, well, that's everyone that comes will get a hat. They'll get a chance.
I thought you were going to say how to wear a hat.
That's a good idea.
Should we do that when everyone comes in? Just plop one on their head.
We should try and get a photo of everyone wearing a hat.
That's a challenge. Yeah. That's a good challenge, Beth. I think we should do that.
But we'll be doing price breakdowns for everything. We're also going to have a breakout session for bags as well, because again, this is something that quite a lot of our customers are doing, where they're just initialing or doing a little bit of branding on bags, buying them for like £5-10 and selling them for like £40-50 sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just, it's pretty crazy how much profit there is. It's probably, I think hats are the most profitable, and then bags could be the next most profitable if you're just doing standard stuff. But it's a great way as well just to increase your average order value.
Yeah.
Even if you just sell like 5 hats to your next order, you could be making like 50 to 100 pounds profit extra, and if you do that to every single
Don't
order
give
that
the
goes
price
out,
breakdowns away, Andy. You want them for the event. But no, you are right. I think it's something that will shock a lot of people. And like you say, especially for those who are doing orders for things like workwear or sports and things like that, they're things that people would want. It's sometimes just offering it on a plate. Like the conversation that it always reminds me of was when we had Branded Essex in, and they were talking about their socials, and they said that they just post things on there every day, not because they obviously trying to get more orders, but in terms of just showing off what products they had. And it would remind people that, oh, I need to order that. Oh, that's new. That's cool. Maybe the reason you're not selling hats is because you haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's understanding sell techniques as well, which is something that we'll cover during the event too.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of thinking about it's just having the kind of, when you go back and looking at your database of customers and thinking, okay, who would have a hat that I don't sell hats to? Like, I would guess all of your workwear customers, anyone that's doing anything that's like either on a building site or any kind of manufacturing, I'm sure that they would all love to have hats. And again, it's such an easy win just to add that onto the packs that you do for workwear. So when you're doing like the pack of t-shirt, high vis, hoodie, jacket, trousers, boots, throw a hat in there. Chances are they'll be really grateful for it because it'll look good. But it probably won't even be that noticeable to the overall cost. But you've added sort of £10 per person per pack every single time that way, and it can really add up for you.
And it's not even necessarily about you could do the same decoration if you're using vinyl, for example. It's not even like you have to go to the extreme of creating a whole other decoration material for it. You just use the exact same product and stick it on a hat with the 360, and that's it.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, because you could just do heat transfers if you really wanted to. I mean,
yeah, true.
I mean, you get more of a premium finish by putting high build or silicone or flock, or one of our patches on there. But you could just do it with transfers and do it from the exact same gang sheet.
Yeah, well, I suppose it depends on what you're doing, doesn't it? Because like bucket hats, I think transfers would work really well for those because they're a bit softer and they've got that more comfortable feel. A transfer might flow better with that, whereas on like a structured hat, you can get away with something a bit chunkier.
And as we know from our localization podcast, which was a few weeks ago, even in the smallest of towns or cities like Braintree or others,
still baffles me, by the way.
There's thousands of people doing workwear that could all have custom branded hats on them. And chances are, in the summer when they might look less like to be wearing the other branding, getting them to wear a branded hat is probably a much easier win for the company that's providing the workwear for them as well. I've seen a lot of customers come in here as well where they have sports teams, and that's proving really good for them as well. And the same principle is that if you say have a football team and you have all the age groups, or you have like first, second, third and fourth teams within each age group, or in the adults, you can spread the cost of the hats throughout the whole of your team. So say they've got, I don't know, 15 on the football team or 30 on each rugby team. You only need to be able to sell a hat to each kind of few to each age group, but you could easily get that to add up to say 100, 200 hats, depending on how big the sports team is and how big their support is. So even on the smaller teams, you can really add those hats up and get to volume quite quickly. So if you could do 200 hats and you're making £10 a time per profit because the margins are so good for you, it really adds up, and it's really, really easy to do. I mean, we've got lots of customers in the UK and loads in the US that actually have 2 hat presses because they're having to keep up with so much work, and because they're kind of hands-free, because with the 360 it's auto open. Just set your hat going for 45 seconds.
What do you do in those 45 seconds?
Well, you're fusing a t-shirt. You could be fusing t-shirts at the same time. You could have
another hat,
an auto open or a dual layer next to it, and you just leave those hats going, come back to them because your auto open will come back up, and then put them to the side, get the next one going. You can easily add the hats into your existing customers without having to have too much more sort of work to do. You don't have to employ another person to now decorate hats. They're quite once they're up and running, they're quite hands off in a way.
Yeah, they sort of work for themselves in a way.
You can use 6 there's a little bit longer dwell time, and there's no pre-press with them because they're heating from the inside as soon as you put the hat on, so that they just let them go.
that's, I think, probably going to take some people some getting used to, because even though the logic of technically, like you say, it gets pre-pressed from the heated lower platen, we've drilled it into everyone to always do a pre-press, and now we're like, no, you don't need to.
I see it. I had a customer come in this morning actually, and they said, I've been watching the videos, and it wasn't until you told me to pre-press that we've always been just normal pressing our stuff and wondered what's going wrong. And they're like, something's not right here. And they didn't have their help from wherever they got their stuff from, and they went onto YouTube, found us, and pre-press, that makes so much more sense now. Like you say, they'll have to. The principle is the hat's on there for so long while you're getting it set up. I mean, it's not a lot of time, but even if it's like 5-10 seconds, that's enough for it to heat up. While you're getting it positioned,
as I say, you have to clip it into place, and you have to sort of align your badge or your transfer or your vinyl. That's enough time for it. And I suppose these hats don't necessarily get crinkled like a t-shirt would. It's probably more just like the moisture element.
The structured hats don't have as much time to, like you say, they don't need to be flattened out because they're just flat. They're the same size.
Yeah, it's probably not as much of a pre-press needed anyway.
No, and the thinner hats, which have less structure, to be honest, are not as premium anyway.
Apart from bucket hats, because they're a bit floppy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You can fuse those on the 360 as well. I was quite surprised.
Or bucket hats.
Yeah, obviously I know you fit the top of it, but like if you want to fuse the front, that fits quite well on it, doesn't it?
I would probably say that the 360 is better for fusing bucket hats than anything else. The press, to be honest. I think because of the shape of them, you want them, and because, like I said, there's not all bucket hats are the same. Against the same principles, that every bucket hat will go on a 360. Yeah,
that's true. I've seen people use the circle round, the circle platens for like the auto open. But even that, if you have an auto open, you
for doing the top of it,
that's fantastic. But then that's all you can do. Whereas if you have the 360, it opens so many doors for every hat, every corner, every decoration, like you said. So no, I'm excited. It's gonna be a good event.
Should be really good. So it's June 28th, which is a Wednesday. All of the information is on our events page, targettransfers.com/events. So there'll be all the information you need about how to get here, who's going to be speaking. There'll be the schedule of talks will be up very soon, but there'll be lots of time to network, speak to other people that are thinking about getting hats. So you can ask lots of questions. There'll be sort of Q&As and
demonstrations,
round tables. So if you want to ask absolutely anything you need to know about heat presses, heat printing, especially for hats. But there will be other stuff if you're interested in just heat printing in general, just want to come in, ask questions, you can do that too, because we're always happy to talk about that.
Yeah, and I mean, even if, like you said, that you're thinking about hats, but you're not 100% sure yet, even if you've got questions about a bit like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, Ralawise are going to be here. They're the experts. They sell all of the brands. It's worth coming along just to get a bit of FaceTime with them, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you're in the local area.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah, so there'll be lots and lots of different hat types as well. I think probably everyone will get a goodie bag filled with hats as well. So you'll be able to take some hats home, which I think would be really good. So that way you got some hats that you can take to your customers and pitch them the idea. Because obviously we realised that the 360 press, though it's not that expensive, it's about £1,500, but we realise that some of you want to get that job first to pay for the press, which is sensible and recommended always. So we'll give you a couple of options to take away with you, so then you can go and speak to your customers and say, look, what do you think of this? And then when they say yes, that next job will pay for the ability to be able to get hold of a 360 hat press, so then you can do those jobs and get those nice profit margins as well.
Yeah, it really doesn't take many hat sales per month to pay off that press, does it? What was it, 7 was the payoff number?
It's something like that, yes.
So, if you can 7 or 8 hats a month is minimal. So, and like you say, the quality of this, like the rubber badge I have here, I mean, I can't really get over how good it does look, considering it's, a patch or a badge or whatever you want to call it.
We've got this metallic one. So anyone that's watching us on YouTube, you can get a little bit of a sneak peek of what we're got planned. So this one has got what we call a 3D embossed patch on there.
Yeah, that one looks good.
These are all available on badges.targettransfers.com. That's the high build vinyl one. So if you don't want to wait to June the 28th, you can get started straight away, because all the badges are available and they can get back to you in about 3 weeks. You take a little bit longer than transfers, but not too long still.
Yeah, and we do have plenty of videos online as well. So if you're watching this and you maybe have a 360 and you think, oh, I'm sort of, like you say, wanting to get started a bit before the hat event, then just go onto YouTube. There's plenty of tutorials on there of how to use both.
Yeah, and I mean, we said this a few times, but go onto Facebook and join the Heat Press for Profit group as well.
The 360 goes off in that group
it does.
as well. It's insane.
Yeah. If you want to see real life examples from existing customers of just how much money they're making with hat presses, you'll be staggered. So I'd go onto Facebook. It's called Heat Press for Profit. It's the group. Join in. It's basically like an open forum for anyone that's a garment decorator. It's heat printing to ask each other questions, show each other examples, learn from other people. Like, there's a lot of it is people sharing how they're being successful and
or solving problems.
Yeah,
as well.
And hat printing is a big one on there. There's people in there that've got 3, 4, or 5 hat presses, and that's all they do. There's so much business for hats now that we have customers as well that just do hats.
Yeah,
they don't do anything else. They just do hats all day long, and they're very successful from it.
Yeah. Oh, it's a very profitable business if you do it right. And that's exactly what we're going to teach you how to do at the event on June 28th. So,
so definitely come and join us because there's lots and lots to learn, and we've got all of the best people. So, like I said, the Beechfield are the best of the best for providing blank hats in the UK and in Europe. We will be joined by Ralawise, who will be the company that you need to buy all the hats from. They're the main wholesaler. They've got lots of stock, and you can get live prices from them on the day, so you can see just how much they're really going to cost. We've got Graphtec, which are the leading supplier for cutting the special finished vinyl, which can look fantastic on hats. And of course, we'll be there with demonstrations of how to fuse everything. We've got badges. We've got custom badges, so that's embroidered, woven, rubber and embossed. We've got the high build vinyl, obviously, and we've got these fantastic presses, including the 360 and the hat build. So we'll show you how to decorate everything you could possibly ever want to know about hats. So it's really it's a must attend event, and it's going to be make sure that there's lots of value for you from it.
Yeah, and you get to walk away with some free hats. So
exactly,
it's worth coming just to get some Beechfield hats.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool.
So make sure you join us for that.
Yes, and we will hopefully be uploading a podcast fairly soon after the event with Beechfield themselves. So with some maybe insights from the event and maybe a bit more information about hat printing as well. So that'll be good to have as like a more long-term, long-form video piece as well.
Exactly. And so don't forget to follow the podcast if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be the first to know about these fantastic podcasts. We have lots and lots of video coming up. We've got 2 Minute Tuesdays coming back. We've got lots of lives. We're live every single Friday, and we've also got some other really exciting podcasts coming up very soon.
We have, yes. We've got a lot going on, haven't we?
Yep.
I think that's everything for today. So, make sure you come along to the event, and we will see you next Thursday for another podcast.